Fantasy football drafts here and approaching the next couple weeks before the season starts, September 4th. He's the best handcuff running backs to get late in draft. The first running back, Zack Charbanet of the Seattle Seahawks. So Charbanet only in the league a couple years and already one of the better backup running backs in all pro football. Last season, Kenneth Walker missed some games, and Charbanet had some big performances, finishing the year 135 carries, 569 rush yards, 8 touchdowns, 42 catches, 340 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown. So I think Zack Charbanet, talent is there, physical in between the tackles, got that breakaway speed, could catch the football out of the backfield. And I've said this in other videos, he could at least start, I think, for 15 other teams entering the season is Zack Charbanet. He just has all the tools in a modern-day running back. Like I said, 3 down back, catching the football out of the backfield. If he had a full workload, I think he could catch 55, 70 pass range. Zack Charbanet on a decent team if he was with. But like I said, going into the year, he's going to be the backup to Kenneth Walker. Last season, in the games where they were both healthy, Charbanet, he would just change the pace back. And obviously, he only got a few touches per game, but when Walker went down and he stepped up, he had a couple ball games, over 20 fantasy points in PPR leagues. So he's definitely a handcuff running back to stash this season, and he's going in that 9th to 11th round range in most fantasy drafts. The next handcuff, Jordan Mason of the Minnesota Vikings. Jordan Mason last season filling in for Christian McCaffrey. He had some monster games, especially early in the season, and then traded away in the offseason and getting a decent deal with the Minnesota Vikings. Last season, 153 carries, 789 rush yards, 3 touchdowns, 11 catches, 91 yards, and a fumble loss. So the only thing with Mason, he's not a receiving back out of the backfield, but we know the situation, it could go in Mason's favor where Aaron Jones, he's at the latter part of his career, veteran running back, even though he still has some left in the tank. But injuries have been a concern for Aaron Jones on and off throughout his NFL career. But like I said, Jordan Mason last season, he handled the full workload till he went down with injury for this Minnesota Viking team. But he's a solid running back, physical in between the tackles, can make plays, had some bursts. And like I said, if Aaron Jones went down with injury, Mason could step in. And we already seen the potential last season with San Francisco. So right now, he's anywhere from that 7th to 9th round range. I've been seeing Mason going all preseason here in these mock drafts. Next, back Ray Davis of the Buffalo Bills. Ray Davis, one of the better backup backs, and last season he filled in a couple times for James Cook. Obviously, he's not going to see the field much. James Cook just signing a contract extension last week for 4 more years with this Buffalo Bill team. But Ray Davis in his rookie season last year had some moments, 113 carries, 442 rush yards, 3 touchdowns, 17 catches, 189 receiving yards, and 3 TDs. Went out there is Ray Davis. He made plays. I remember on a Monday night versus a pretty decent New York Jet defense, he went out there, had over 100 yards from scrimmage and found the end zone. So Ray Davis, he could be a 3-down back. He has all the tools, I think, is Ray Davis. And he's another guy. He could start for a handful of teams, I believe, in the league if he wasn't with the Buffalo Bills. But like I said, with James Cook locked up on that contract extension now, he's going to be a nice handcuff. And obviously someone to get late in your fantasy draft. Next, back Isaac Orendo of the San Francisco 49ers. He might be one of the more crucial, obviously, handcuff backs in all fantasy football. Christian McCaffrey last season missed pretty much every game of the season. He was out. Now he's healthy coming into the year. Jordan Mason, who mentioned early in the video, got traded off to the Minnesota Vikings. He's the handcuff over there. And Orendo last season, he was explosive when he had an opportunity in his rookie season after Jordan Mason went down with injury as well. 84 carries, 420 rush yards, 4 touchdowns, 15 catches, 152 receiving yards, a fumble loss on 16 targets. Orendo, he went out there. He made plays for the San Francisco 49er team, and he was a league winner for some fantasy owners. The last 3-4 weeks when he filled in, he went out there and had some big games with Isaac Orendo. So like I said, if Christian McCaffrey goes down with injury for, let's say, an extended period of time, once again, I think Orendo has top 15 to 20 upside weekly for fantasy owners. Next back, Braylon Allen of the New York Jets. You talk about a physical back and someone who's very tough to get down in the backfield. At 6'1", 235 pounds. If he's running downhill, Braylon Allen, that's like a Mack truck coming at you full speed. So last season in his rookie year, at only 20 years old, 92 carries, 334 rush yards, 2 touchdowns, 19 catches, 148 yards. Obviously, Breece Hall, he's the running back over there for the New York Jets. But Brandon Allen in preseason, for the most part, it's almost been a 50-50 share unless they want to keep Breece Hall, obviously, fresh for the season. But the thing is, Breece Hall, they didn't give him a contract extension. Obviously, they extended Garrett Wilson, and Sauce Gardner was this New York Jet front office. But Brandon Allen, like I said, a physical back, and last season he showed he belongs in the league and he can make plays, especially at the goal line. A back like that, pretty much impossible to take down within the 3-yard line. So Brandon Allen, he's going the last couple rounds of your draft, 13th to the 15th round range. And like I said, now he could be moving up draft boards in the next week before fantasy drafts really kick off into full throttle. After preseason, he's been getting a good workload, and Aaron Glenn, it looks like, likes using 2 running backs. Next back, Bachelele Tutin of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Tutin, he's looked good so far in the preseason as a rookie, but obviously Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne are going to fight it out for the starting job in the backfield. So Tutin, his last preseason game, 10 carries, 35 yards, a touchdown, and a catch for 6 yards. So Tutin, he was a nice pick, intriguing in the NFL draft. The guy's got game-breaking ability. It's a little small of a back, only 5'9", but 209. Got some bulk to him at the 5'9". Height is Tutin. But like I said, right now, he's going to be third fiddle in that offense. But he's a guy who's been rising up the draft boards, believe it or not, over the last week is Bachelele Tutin. And fantasy owners, to take a fly on possibly a lottery ticket down the line in fantasy football this season, where like I said, the Jaguars used a decent draft pick on him entering the season. I think Tutin, maybe in the second half of the year, could be a factor. And like I said, he's a running back going last couple rounds of your fantasy drafts. And the final handcuff back I would draft with stash this season's Tyrell Algier of the Atlanta Falcons. So Bijan Robinson, we know he's arguably the best running back in fantasy football. I've seen him go number 2 overall in some drafts this season, but I got him number 3 overall behind Chase and Saquon Barkley. And Tyrell Algier, he did have a 1,000-yard season before Bijan Robinson got drafted a couple years ago. And even him and Bijan, in Bijan's rookie season, he was getting some work until the middle of the season where it tailed off the workload. So last season, still 137 carries as a backup, 644 rush yards, 3 touchdowns, 13 catches, 88 yards. So Tyrell Algier, another running back who, if he could start for 10 to 15 teams in the league. He's a talented back, already a 1,000-yard season under his belt a few years ago. But obviously Atlanta, they went home run hitting, getting Bijan Robinson, already one of the better backs in the league, only entering his 3rd year. But like I said, if anything ever happened to Bijan Robinson, we know Algier, he's obviously a running back that's very capable, 1,000-yard season under his belt. And even last season, in the middle of the pack type of touch season as a change of pace back, he had a decent backup season with Tyrell Algier, and he's been a great handcuff the last couple of years. So that's the top handcuffs at the running back position entering the 2025 fantasy football season.